Hi, this is Davis from ActualTechMedia. We're here at Microsoft Ignite 2017 in Orlando, Florida. I'm excited to be joined by Mr. Kris Boyd. He's with the office of the CTO at Tintri. How you doing, Kris?
Excellent. It's great to be here.
Thanks so much for joining us. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Tintri's latest announcements, especially around the new platform in terms of scalability and things like that. Why don't you tell us about what's new with Tintri storage?
Definitely. So the new platform is actually, we call it our ECE6000 series. So ECE stands for Enterprise Cloud. The idea is that we're providing the platform for your enterprise cloud. So essentially it's a refresh of our all-flash arrays that we've already had. We had our T5000 series for the last few years, and we wanted to upgrade everything. We wanted bigger controllers, we wanted more capacity, so we put bigger drives in there. So essentially we've doubled capacity on everything we have. So we can run, in a 2U platform, we can run as little as about 20 terabytes all the way up to about 650 terabytes. Now, again, a lot of those numbers are going to be effective numbers. What we like to lean on more is what we say the number of VMs that you can run per box. So the smallest box we have is our EC6030. We run about between 500 and 1,000 VMs, whereas we go all the way up to our 6090, which we can support about 7,500 VMs. The big difference for us and why it's such a big deal is because, especially in the VDI space, which is kind of where I specialize, is we can run 7,500 VMs on a single data store. So now your storage architecture really changes. We keep it much simpler. It's really a plug-and-play type solution.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, you would limit the number of VMs on a particular data store because you just couldn't handle that many. So, in terms of VDI, how does Tintri support VDI, or I mean, is there more to it than just the number of VMs on the data store? What makes Tintri special when it comes to VDI?
The biggest thing is all the stuff that we always talk about when it comes to VMs in general and how we support them. It's really the visibility and the manageability. So a lot of our customers that are really happy, I mean, all of our customers are really happy, but the ones that we talk to the most really talk about the simplicity of the solution, where they go, I can really just put it in and I'm off and running, and I don't have to do any fancy configurations, but you do have the availability to be able to do things like QoS on a per IOPS level, on a per VM level. We can associate things like when you look at like Horizon View pools, or you look at sets of desktops, and we can create configurations around that, or for individual desktops. And so now we do everything very granularly, but we can automate based on that as well. And so it makes VDI just much more successful in general, because now you're eliminating all the complexity of storage that we used to have. There's no LUNs, there's no mount points, none of that stuff exists anymore. So like you said, you used to be limited on a single data store to maybe a couple hundred VMs, and now we can run upwards of 7,500 on a single data store. So if you're doing thousands of VMs, it now changes your entire storage architecture. It becomes much simpler to do. So, and then the other side of it, we talk about like the noisy neighbor situation. That's where we get into a lot of our QoS and how we can limit by IOPS, or for those VMs that are more important, say your SQL servers, if you're doing Citrix, you're talking about PVS servers, you can now focus and say, I want to guarantee IOPS as well. And so you have the availability to do that on a per VM basis.
Very nice. And that's always been the real challenge with VDI, is the performance of the storage behind the VDI infrastructure. In many cases, VDI has failed simply because the storage didn't perform. There was too much latency. So Tintri is really making VDI successful. You have granular control, an all-new platform, 7,500 virtual machines on a single data store. Yep. It's really incredible. Thanks so much for your time today, Kris.
Thank you very much for having me.